So on today's video, I'm going to take you through how I set up my tubs and what tubs I use for my ball pythons. What's up guys, and welcome back to Predator BP, the channel that focuses on the hobbyist keeper and breeder of ball pythons. And today's video is all going to be about my tubs that I use and how I set them up. But let me just show you the male that I couldn't show you on my previous video about my first pairing of the season since getting back into the hobby, because he was deep in shed. Now that pairing was a spider female that I showed you, who's double het hypo clown, and she had been paired to this male pastel, who's double het hypo clown, and he's shed out now and looking awesome and taking off my beads, as they do. They like to get around your jewelry snakes, but he's just fantastic. Look at him, absolutely excellent. I can't wait to see his offspring. Now guys, the reason I'm making this video is some people just that are thinking of getting into the hobby or about to get into the hobby might be thinking of what tubs to use. And if you're here in the UK, we use really useful boxes and there's a real advantage to them, which I'll take you through. But I'm also doing this because I'm setting up a couple of boxes for snakes that are arriving on Wednesday. I'm currently filming this video on Monday, but they'll go out on Wednesday. And that's the same day that the snakes are arriving, in the late afternoon, evening. So I want to get their tubs all ready and set up for when they come in. And I'm going to take you through it. So hopefully you find it interesting. Let's go check it out. Okay guys, so let's dive into these really useful boxes. And as you can see, they have lockable handles. Now I am lid on, and a lot of people say to me, Rich, how can you be lid on? But I've been lid on for all these years. I'm so used to it. There are advantages to it, like when you go to feed your animals, they can't come flying out of the tubs. You can easily move them and contain them just by pulling the box out. I also find it easier to keep humidity and things like that, and I've just been so used to it. The honest truth is my partner Kate as well, like she doesn't want me to have a lidless system. She puts up with the snakes, but there's some things that she just has overall. So look, lids work all round because they stop me from getting in trouble. Now, lockable lids. So we can take that off and we can take the lid off, and there is our box. Now what you'll see underneath is we have a hexagonal base. Okay, they're quite strong and durable boxes, but let's just make note of this. Some information on the back here, and hopefully the camera focuses in, you can see it. But look, you can heat up temperature wise to 80 Celsius. I mean, you would never go to that, right? But it's good to know that they're safe. They're not going to melt at the 31 Celsius that we set our mats to. So they're just really versatile. Let's talk about the first step that I do before setting up this tub. So the first step, guys, is I'm going to wipe it all down. I'm going to disinfect the lid, and I'm going to disinfect inside. Obviously it's come brand new, but you don't know in the manufacturing process what might, be residing still in it, some residue or something. So it pays to just wipe it down, just to keep things safe before we do anything else. Now, just before I do the next step, which is actually to put some extra ventilation in, I wanted to show you the dividers that you can get. And I get these from Living Art Ball Pythons here in the UK. Fantastic service from Ash, as always. And I've had some new ones come in. But yeah, you can just divide it up and it gives that living quarters there, sleeping area, and if you want to get smaller snakes into one tub, it just works well. Now, the next part, guys, is to get yourself a soldering iron. You can see this has been well used. This is my trusty one that I've had for years now. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to puncture some ventilation in the front. I always go one side on the front, one side on the back. This is to just help with airflow as it goes through the tub. Some does come out through the lid, but I just find it helps with controlling humidity so it doesn't get too humid. It doesn't get you know, you don't get as much mold on your substrate. I only really get mold underneath the water bowl where it spills, and not throughout the substrate just in general. And I think airflow really helps with that. All right, so I'm going to punch some holes into this, and I'll just show you how they look at the front. So you can see the soldering iron smoking over there, and there we go, guys. I just do 3 like rows of 4. Not my best work, a little bit wonky, and I've obviously done it down on the end there. So that's put a little bit of extra ventilation in the tub. Let's move on to the next stage. So now I have lined the bottom of the tub with the ProRep cocoa chips, and no, I'm not sponsored by them, guys, but I just like it. I always break mine down dry because I don't like a really wet environment. I want to create humidity in there, but I don't want it to be wet. I don't want the snakes laying in wet. And I've tried to soak the cocoa husk and then put it in later. It's just caused me issues with the way my tubs are set up with mold and stuff like that. So I break it down dry, and then I add moisture later, but humidity actually all comes from what I'm going to put in next. So we need to add the water bowl. I know, massive dog bowl, right? New Forest Morphs used to laugh at me about the size of my water bowls, but I like them this big because this is how I create humidity in here. The snake can almost get in there as well, like my spider double het hypo clown is doing right now. And obviously they can drink from it. I like a large water source in the enclosure. Now the next thing to add is optional, and I mean it's optional because it depends on your snake, but I like these internet hides. This nice black one, plastic. Gives the snake everything it needs. When a new snake goes in here, I'll make a decision whether it needs this or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Obviously, the whole tub is going to slide back into the rack system, so they get coverage. But that's it, guys. That's my tub setup right there. Look, I can lock that up now, and job done. One thing to comment on the note, guys, is that obviously this video is just about the tub setup themselves. And I haven't spoken about heating, but obviously my tubs traditionally they go into my rack system here, and they'll be sitting on a mat, a heat mat, which you can see here is taped down with foil tape. And these heat mats are all controlled by a thermostat, which is an absolute must. Okay, can't reiterate that enough. If you're new and you're watching, these tubs will sit on a heat mat and it will be controlled by a thermostat. But yeah, this video was purely just on the tubs themselves and the setup of it. So that's it, guys. It's really not that much to it. It's quite simple, but you just need those basic elements within your tub, and you've got a great little enclosure to keep your ball python happy in. Now, if any of you have seen Dave Kaufman's documentary where he went out to Africa to actually explore exactly where ball pythons live, you can see why they do so well in tub systems. And that's not that you can't go and do a beautiful vivarium and clutter it up and give the ball python what it needs. It's just why tubs and rack systems really work for this particular species of snake. And with those boxes, they're quite versatile in the way they sort of allow the heat in and out, the ventilation you can put in, and the different sizes really that you can use and slowly grade up your ball pythons in. You know, typically I would start off in a 9 litre and then probably work to a 24.5 and then work to a 33 and then to beyond 33 if they start to get really big. The other thing you can do as well is you can use dividers which divide the tub up, so you can actually keep multiple snakes in the same tub. So if you've got a couple of hatchlings, for example, and you want to put them in a 24.5, but it's too big, you can put a divider in there and then you can keep 2 of them in a 24.5. So the versatility is just massive within these, and it's why they work so well. For you yourselves, it'll be how you're going to keep your ball pythons, whether you're having, you know, a handful, whether you're having more than that, whether you choose to use vivariums or a rack system, what type of rack system, and ultimately what type of tubs. It needs to suit you, your animals, and everything that you need to get out of it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful to anyone new coming in or just people that are interested. So what else have we got coming, guys? Obviously, we've got a video coming soon on the 2 new stakes that are coming in. One is an adult breeder female who is awesome. They're from an amazing, amazing breeder. And one is a powerhouse male who must be pushing 400 grams, maybe more by now, who is really going to be the core of my breeding seasons in the next year or so. So stay tuned for that. I'm also trying to arrange to get to a local breeder very, very soon, who's also just high level, just amazing. So I can't wait to get over to his, see his stuff, what he's working on, explore his passion for the hobby. So we've got these things coming, as well as another 4 Horsemen collaboration, which we'll put on. We're hoping to do like once a month to keep that going. And hopefully Rob, Shane and Ron are all up for that. Anyway, guys, I hope you're doing well. Hope your animals are doing well. Thanks for watching the video and your support as always. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.